Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Banjo Kazooie Part 4. As you guys can already see, it's a little bit different. This is a straight comparison video of the Xbox Live version versus the Nintendo 64 version. For those of you who have noticed the date uploaded, it's been quite a while since I've done a Banjo Kazooie part, simply for the fact that it took a lot to record this and just to get it all edited up. But here it is, and as you guys can see, I've lined it up at the beginning perfectly. I did that on purpose to ensure that if there's any drops in frames or any slow frame rate, that you guys are going to be able to see the notes. And already you can kind of see that the Xbox Live Arcade version is still chugging away, but the N64 has kind of fallen behind. I used the audio for the Xbox Live Arcade version because it's the most consistent and a little bit higher bit rate. But there isn't a big difference. You do notice there's a little bit more polish on the Xbox Live Arcade version. And as you guys noticed at the beginning, the Nintendo 64 logo was creeping across the screen, unlike in the Xbox Live Arcade version, which of course I prefer. I wish they had done something with the Xbox Live Arcade version that was a little bit more unique and animated, but they just took out the audio associated with it. And then we've got Nintendo and Microsoft side by side on one of the greatest games I've ever played. Now here's another thing I noticed while I was actually doing a recording was there's two separate intros. The Xbox Live Arcade version just kind of opens up with a transition of a Jiggy opening up, whereas Banjo Kazooie has like puzzle pieces falling into place. And you notice the tech demo, like the game demo of how you're going to be playing the game is completely different. They did a completely new one for the Xbox Live Arcade version. Now I'm just going to be showing you my Nintendo 64 profile. This is the one. This is game 1 is the one that we're going to be playing on. Game 2, that's just something I goofed around on. As you can see, 30 hours in this game, and I haven't even gotten everything. That's what happens when you're a kid. You spend so much time finding out everything. We're going to be talking about a lot of key differences. And one of the things here, actually, that I wanted to show you guys that I missed in my Xbox Live Arcade version was, let's say you choose to not get Bottles' moves. And you want to go ahead and just talk to Bottles after, and he kind of gets a little annoyed with you. He's like, what? And I remember one time distinctly where I pressed B instead of A, and I was like, no, I kind of wanted to do the intro. And so I kept on trying to talk to him to try and get him to talk to me and give me the moveset. But he's giving me a last warning what's going on, and then I remember being like, he asked us, erasing my game pack? No, 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 no. Okay, all right, good save, Banjo. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, man, that was so scary as a kid. And then one more time, he just repeats that for the remainder of it as you continue on. As you can see, we're trying to get through as much stuff as possible. Now we're going to be showing, again, another side-by-side shot. Now, I've just beaten the level on Mumbo Mountain. I've gotten 90 notes on that run just to highlight something. Could have gotten 100. You guys know that. So now we're just going to go ahead and re-enter as both characters. Both versions has now collected the notes at the beginning of the level. This is all I kind of wanted to show, as well as the blue Jinjo in this level. Now, right off the bat, we're going to be noticing Poppin'. I'm not going to talk about that until a little bit later. But as you can see, Banjo Kazooie, there's no notes. And then N64, oh my god, look. I just collected those. There's the blue Jinjos collected in the Xbox Live Arcade version. The N64, I've just recollected the blue Jinjo. It can be a pain in the ass. One of the reasons why you can see a 30-hour run in a Banjo-Kazooie game on the Nintendo 64 version is missing one note, missing one Jinjo. You're going back, you're collecting all 5, you're collecting all 100s just to try and get that perfect run. Now we're going to be meeting up at Treasure Trove Cove Nest. Treasure Trove Cove. That's the next level that we're going to be going to, and that's where I'm going to be talking about the other key differences I've been noticing. Now notice it's kind of an interesting how both times I wasn't actually trying to line these up, and for whatever reason I just always walk up this little plank the same way. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut. Here's Treasure Trove Cove. God damn it, can't say it. Alright, so at the beginning, we're going to be noticing just, we're going to get to the flight pad. I haven't done flying in the Xbox Live Arcade version. I'm just going to do a direct comparison because that shows Poppin' the absolute best. Here I'm just taking out an enemy on the Xbox Live Arcade version, then 64 one, we're just walking past it. Don't even care. As you can see, I'm more inclined to truck trot in the N64 version. It felt a lot natural holding down that Z button while you were, the Z trigger it was. We're going to go ahead, collect the flight pad. Take a little break here because we're going to actually learn how to fly from Bottles. Doesn't actually teach us, just tell us we have the ability to use these flight pads now. Doesn't really make all that much sense. But anyways, that's just Banjo Kazooie for you. And yeah, basically, it's Pop-In is one of the ways that this game is a little bit more difficult than the other one. It's because when you're looking around for stuff and you don't remember the level perfectly where everything is, and you're using your eyes, you're a gamer, you're trying to figure out, assess, and explore a level. As you can see right away, you can't see those red feathers on the Nintendo 64 version, but you can see them on the Xbox Live Arcade version. Look, and within a couple meters we had to get that. Now I'm going to be getting my favorite honeycomb piece. You see that little crate on the Xbox Live Arcade version? Can't see it in the Nintendo 64 version. I'm aware it's there in the Nintendo 64 version. I'm like, oh, I want it. Where's that honeycomb? I'm trying to, pander, and then, oh, there it is. Just sort of pops in there, and I'm able to collect it. And that in essence is what the Xbox Live Arcade version, it seems like such a minute thing. And of course the Xbox would be able to no problem handle the hardware needs that the Banjo Kazooie needed to have the Pop-In. We're going to talk about Shark Food Highland in a bit. As you can see, it's raised in both versions. It's kind of disappointed about that. But anyways, as you can see, the Pop-In is actually extremely annoying. It's frustrating. It just creates for a more difficult run-through because you can't see where everything is. In the Xbox Live Arcade version, the Xbox was more than able to handle that. As me kind of looking at it, I was a little bit uncertain. It's not supposed to be raised unless you collect the stop and swap items in this game. I've decided that I'm going to keep stop and swap, which was the planned majority of this part, for the next part. I'm going to talk about that in depth for the next part. Right now, I'm just, kind of going around, not doing a heck of a lot. Just sort of, if you can kind of look at the color scheme, it's more vibrant in the Xbox Live Arcade version. The sand is more yellow. The N64 is sort of a bland sort of sand. I don't know. It's small little things. You notice like the tones, the colors, they're just a little bit more, it has more depth to it. So we're going to go ahead and do another run. And we're going to show actually kind of the biggest, a good example of Pop-In, is like to think. N64, what are we looking at? We're looking at the crab. Xbox Live Arcade version, there's the crab. No problem. Still no crab. Oh, there it is. N64 version you had to be within meters. And then there's a honeycomb down there. I'm surprised that popped in there. I was trying to show that it wasn't going to pop in. And then here in the N64 version, we're also going to see again, the enemy hasn't popped in. There's the mine now, just within a few meters. And when you're flying around looking for stuff, that can be extremely difficult to just find everything. And one of the funnest parts about the Nintendo 64 version and even the Xbox Live Arcade version is flying around in Banjo Kazooie. Flight was a relatively new thing in three-dimensional games, especially in three-dimensional platforming where it was all exploration. But and yeah, it was just a ton of fun. I remember spending hours flying around this freaking map, just enjoying everything it had to offer. And yeah, a lot of good memories, but as you can see, there's a lot of limitations that the Nintendo 64 put on this game, and it's creating my thesis, so to speak, as to why I feel the Xbox Live Arcade version fixes and perfects what this game should have been. Unfortunately, it came out many, many years after the Nintendo 64, so it sort of lost its appeal. And we're just going to, you know what? We're going to say bye to the Nintendo 64 version, just going to kick that off screen, and then we're going to continue with our playthrough on the Xbox Live Arcade version. We still have a bunch of notes to get and a bunch of puzzle pieces, and I think like a Jinjo or something like that. So right now I'm just trying to assess, where am I going to go? Alright, so I see a Mumbo Jumbo token and a move that I need to learn. And of course, taking fall damage. I'm going to be taking a ton of fall damage in this part. It's just so much fun to just drop off this level. This is the, I believe, it's going to show up in a second. I'm not going to embarrass myself by saying it wrong. But it would be the, oh geez, shock jump spring. Wow, I'm going to call it the shock jump pad. So these, the jump pads, that's what we're going to call them now. The jump pads. This is the first level you're introduced to them. I find they're very underutilized, and even this puzzle right here that uses the jump pads, it's kind of mediocre at best. I end up glitching the game here by holding the A button and then pressing forward and falling off of the platform that you're on. You actually are normally supposed to jump straight up and go across the map in the air, but instead I jump down and then catapult up from another surface, which is, of course, It's one of those things I don't think they intended to be in the game, but you definitely end up utilizing it for a little bit extra fun and getting to a couple of spots that maybe you shouldn't be able to. As I was saying, though, the jump pads, as I said I'm going to call them, are really kind of underutilized. They're used really well in Clanker's Cavern and in the Swamp Lagoon. Oh, Jesus Christ, I've already lost it. It's Bubblegum Swamp. Oh, I hope to God it's that. And one of the interesting things, though, if while you're in the animation of doing your jump pad and you get attacked by any enemy, it automatically cancels. This is epic fail right here. I luckily saved it. I really didn't want to have to redo that entire part, edit it out for you guys. Still sucking. Yeah, otherwise we're just going to get a Jiggy. An alternative to get this Jiggy without even getting the jump pad or using it is just to fly around, land on that little spot, and get the Jiggy. Only got 5 out of 10. We're going to be making a ton of progress in the next 10 minutes. We're going to get so many Jiggies. Next one we're going to deal with. Now, I'm going to couple Shark Bait Island, which is the island, the big spire you see there, and the Sand Castle, actually, is extremely important to Banjo Kazooie. It's in the second level. This is why this is such an important level and why I've spent so much time on it, too. I guess it's going to be close to 2.5 parts I expect to be in this level and talking about this level, and I'm constantly going to make reference to it because the Sand Castle was actually part of the debugger for the programmers and the playtesters who play this game that they kept into the game. And of course, most times in the tradition of the N64 and the Super Nintendo, it would take a lot of extra effort to remove debug modes, and they thought, you know what, it's not worth taking out and fixing the code for all of it, because it usually was very unique and you had to know exactly what you needed to activate it. But this is just a small puzzle utilizing the letters on the ground, which is one of the few ways you can textually communicate with the game. Which they utilize in Banjo Tooie as sort of like for inputting cheats and whatnot. But yeah, here's me kind of failing on. I think the next O is where I fail on, or yeah, it's just right down in the corner. I miss it completely. Yeah, it's. I can't believe I can stop talking. I haven't stopped talking for the last 15 minutes or whatever. So yeah, sandcastles, fantastic. We've got this guy who I definitely just try to show off on because he's such a underwhelming bad guy. And check him do some extra last-minute damage. Oh, what a dick. And we've got collecting a couple notes. We're going to get our Jiggy. And then we're going to continue on. Now, as I said, we're going to be talking about the Sandcastle, the different cheats and words and just a string of letters you could put together to activate other parts of the level. One thing I might as well just say right now is Shark Food Island is not supposed to be elevated. I will show, actually, best time to do this. I originally was going to do a comparison of the ROM of this game with the Xbox Live Arcade version, but the emulator I was using or the ROM I had, either one, it was dropping frames consistently, and that intro I had to edit so significantly that it was in perfect timed. It was in perfect sync with each other, but the problem is that I didn't really want that because I couldn't, you never really know, does the N64 drop frames? Does the, or is it the ROM, right? So anyways, as you guys probably saw, it did. It dropped quite a couple of frames. There was a speed difference. The Xbox Live Arcade version didn't stop, and that can be said of a lot of different parts in the N64 version where you'd drop frames, you'd have slowdowns. So overall, the Xbox Live Arcade version, just doing what it can do because of the power that it does have. Here's me scoping out. I have no idea what I'm doing up there. Having fun. Oh yeah, I thought I forgot the Mumbo Jumbo token there. I'm so bad for getting those Mumbo Jumbo tokens. Actually, I think I'm going to go on a little fail quest to try and get one right now. Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's, where was I? Oh yes, I was talking about the fact that the spire is raised. Now, what ended up happening in the Nintendo 64 version is, as a kid, I had access to stuff like the Game Shark Pro and just the internet by kind of my later teens. And so there was a lot of stuff just billowing around the internet about Stop and Swap. So like crazy, I collected every egg, every piece of collectible item that was Stop and Swap, which again, I will be talking about more in depth at my next part. But that is to say, it happens that even if you erase all your data, the game naturally, as I'm sure Stop and Swap was intended to work, the game will remember the fact that you have collected all of the Stop and Swap items and will activate them throughout all your profiles. This making sense, of course, that the game needed to have this sort of permanent data of the fact that you would have the Stop and Swap selected. Oh, that was a sick round pound. On a stagger. Oh god. Well, I mean, it's not gonna do that much damage. But yeah, it would keep the data. So what ended up happening was I went to go show the difference in the original Nintendo 64 island, Nintendo 64 version of the game. Oh, I just got owned by that crab. In the original Nintendo 64 version of the game, what ended up happening was it would be a small little mound sticking out of the ground. It wasn't an entire spire that you could enter, and only until you beat the game and inputted a code into the sandcastle level, I believe. I'm gonna get more specific as to what was the exact ones in my next part, just to refresh my memory as to the how it works, because it works a little bit different than the Xbox Live Arcade version. And we're gonna get our last Jinjo here as well, and kind of a bad spot to get your last puzzle piece, or the puzzle piece associated with your Jinjo. Kind of a dangerous area overlooking just death area. But yes, what ended up happening was it saved, and so when I went to go show the difference of the mound, there was nothing. So what I will do is I will show the ROM, which doesn't have Stop and Swap activated, and I'll show off the little mound is supposed to be. It'll be a small little clip, probably beginning my next video, and where I'll talk about Shark Food Island, Stop and Swap, and the Sandcastle debugger / cheat inputter. So right now we're going to be getting our second last Jiggy, and we're also going to be getting the last of our notes. We also have a Gruntilda switch here, which was not very well hidden at all, but nonetheless, shoots out. We're going to have to get that when we leave the level, but of course probably not till the next part. And then you have to Beak Buster down this door, and another Mumbo Jumbo token. Not sure if we've collected all of them for the level. Hopefully we have. And then the next Jiggy, well actually this is actually sort of an interesting thing that I did notice. I was unaware. I thought the Xbox Live Arcade version had fixed sort of every sort of it's what would be called RAM, the random active memory of the game, where it didn't have enough RAM, so it would have to reset a lot of the data values about where stuff was placed and what you had collected and whatnot. But I'm gonna go ahead and kill myself here because it's just so cool when you die from that height. Oh, so dead. So what ends up happening is, as you guys notice, I plugged the bucket with my poo eggs. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. My eggs from my behind, and the water has completely refilled in the sandcastle. And I imagine what ends up happening is, even if you come back, as dying is basically re-entering the level. What ends up happening is that water is replenished and you have to refill that bucket every time. One of the more annoying parts of the Nintendo 64 version, because of how often people ended up using the sandcastle room to put in cheats and whatever else. Sandcastle floor, I should say. They put in that's where they input the cheats. It's kind of a little annoying that they wouldn't have done something about that. It might have been a little bit more intricate part of switching around Banjo Kazooie, but in any port, I can imagine that with enough time and effort, you can just run anything. And there's a fail on getting that X marks the spot. Now we've already done this again. That was another thing that reset. In this particular Jiggy pathway, you have to do them all in one playthrough. You can't just revisit the level and redo it. Makes a little bit more sense, increases the difficulty, or at least the need to actually pay attention to these X's and not come back to level and do one sort of at a time. And, oh, I just see a Mumbo Jumbo token I missed. It's behind the Hermit Crab. I'm definitely going to have to pick that up, because anyone I do see and notice, for me, it's one that I've missed, and I promised you guys 100%, and I'm going to bring you guys that. Actually, we're coming pretty close to the end of this part. So as you can see, we learned so much. Unbelievable amounts of information just coming out of my mouth. I can't believe I'm still talking about this. But yeah, I'm really proud of this shot-for-shot comparison. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. I think it's one of a kind. I don't think I've seen anybody else really do anything close to that. Took a lot of time and effort, and I hope you guys appreciate that by giving a like me and sub me. Look at that epic kill. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. It helps a lot. Where is it? Oh no, maybe there's a huge X right near that level. You know what the most embarrassing part was? As a child, being like, where is it legit? And not knowing where it was. Again, poppin'. Be gentle. That's not gross. So yeah, and I'm going to continue to do these shot-for-shot comparisons. I'm going to ultimately be beating both versions of the game 100% for you guys. The N64 won't be completely on camera, but you will see little clips here and there when I'm doing a comparison video and showing that progress will be kept at pretty much the same as I'm showing shot-for-shot comparisons. They'll both be 100% run. So I think that's kind of an interesting little point. But as we end this part, I'd like to say, guys, once again, like, favorite, and subscribe to this video if you like it. It helps a lot. I really want to grow as a YouTube commentator, and I hope you guys enjoy this thoroughly. As always, have a great day, and see you next time.